Welcome, welcome, welcome. We back, baby. Ill advised. It's your boy Scott Paul.
It's Michael Worthy.
And we
I
back,
hope that
man. So listen, we've been up for the last like hour and a half trying to get this live stream working.
for y'all.
For y'all, we're trying to give y'all a unique, great experience, and that was not working. So it's late on Wednesday, Tuesday. See, I'm
Look
already
at you.
getting
Look at you in the future.
man, man. But we doing this for y'all. We got so
All for y'all.
realized from the last episode. So yeah, first of all, welcome to Ill Advised. Y'all know we're gonna be talking about everything from music to current events, social, you know what I'm saying, finance, economy, everything, right? It's just two homies talking and letting everybody in on us discussing the latest current events, what's going on with the goings on, right? Yeah, man. So there was some things that we didn't touch on last time and some new things, for this time. I figure, you know what I'm saying, we could let the people in on the convo. What do you want
Facts.
to get to
Welcome
first,
back.
bro?
Well, first of all, welcome back to, if you're a returning listener, if you're a first time listener, welcome in general. That is Scott Paul. I am Michael Worthy. We are the ill-advised guys. Just like Scott, a quick recap on what Scott just hinted on. We are going to give you, interesting and lucid perspective on current events, financial advice, what's going on, what's happening. Like Scott mentioned, well, we're going to kind of quickly recap. We did bring up a topic that we kind of like.
Yo, because I was listening to it. And you actually brought up Hulk Hogan twice. You mentioned his name, and then we just talked about Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy. We just did it, and I think it's because both of us we're not. It's just indifference. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
It's
It is.
indifference more than anything. It's like I don't feel any like I don't feel like hate towards the guy at all. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
the guy well enough to hate him. He's just somebody
Mm-hmm.
where you know first of all, I've seen a lot of people talking about the racist things that he said, right? And I've also seen people saying like, yo, don't speak ill of the dead, or that he apologized, or that, whatever, got to be considerate of his family. And listen, I understand where everybody's come from. I'm just coming from a place where I just don't really care, right? And so as a wrestling fan, I was a wrestling fan right around like 2000. I was like still preteen, and but like the Rock was my guy at that time. Was like the Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H and all those guys. And Hulk Hogan was this retired legend, at that
Mm-hmm.
time, and he was like a cool, like a big personality, the whole nine. But
Right.
then like you know by the time I was a teenager, his daughter had this show. It came out that he, what I'm saying, said the racist things to her because she was dating a black dude or whatever.
Right.
And then, and I know he apologized for it and stuff, but there's just like, who's not going to apologize in that
Yeah, it's a public
circumstance?
figure.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, man. It's
It's like when you want to apologize and when you have to apologize.
yeah,
I think it's a
yeah.
difference. I think it's also a genuality factor of it. Are you sorry because you're genuinely sorry, or are you sorry because you're an exposed racist? And now like the people who possibly didn't know that you were racist, or didn't have, or had an inkling that you could have been, maybe you said something before and just never made it to public ears. And I always misconstrue what he said with Mel Gibson.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about Mel Gibson because I feel like it was in the same window-ish of time, and
Yeah.
I just kind of throw all of
And it was,
that.
and it was
But
both
but it
beefing
was a
with their
very
daughters.
similar kind of thing. Very similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Mel Gibson's daughter. I think it was his like wife or ex-wife.
White.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
he was talking about she's gonna get. I hope she gets
Hard
ard
by
by a pack of ends,
Pat. Yeah,
bro.
he's the
A
one. Yeah.
pack, bro. Because
I'm like,
we in
a
packs out
pack.
here.
Sheesh. Jesus. We travel in packs.
So you know what I mean. After that, I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
have a
I think Hulk kind of aligned with that.
yeah.
It's just, to me, it's every time, but it's like, yo, this is the same dude who, and I guess we use allegedly, but at the same time, I think it's public information. Like, it came out like
Yeah.
he actually did have an affair, like, with his best friend's wife.
Mm.
Which is like a bit wild. it's one thing like to kind of like snipe your man's old work. Like if it's just like, you know, I always think about what Push, like not Push, but Malice said, if you had her and I had her, she never mattered, you know. But it's just like, yo, you sniping like your man's wife. Like, that's crazy, son. Like I'm like,
Oh
yo, you at the
yeah.
cookout having hot dogs and hamburgers. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take Judy down. You know what I mean? That's a bit grimy. So I
Word,
think like
right? So it's like there was
his
the what he
character.
was caught saying, and then there was more things that's like, I just think you're not really like a type of dude that I need to care about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
you
like
know,
I'm not gonna do extra investigative work to see if I should not think these negative things that I kind of, you know what I'm saying, assume about your character. And like
hmm
just
hmm
like as the years progressed, I like, and I know people in the political space were like, you
right.
know, he was a maggot, you know, that's what they call the maggot
Yeah,
people, right? So, you
yeah,
know, it's like I don't judge people by their political views, but
facts.
if you see patterns, right?
Right,
You know what I mean? Just like
right.
Mel Gibson, um, you know, endorsing Trump and you know, working with Trump to unwoke Hollywood. That's not why I think he's racist. But if you like put all the pieces together, you see where Mel Gibson was at 15, 20 years ago. He was saying stuff on the phone to, you know what I'm saying, to where he is now. It's like, do you think he actually grew as a person and it has like,
Exactly in 2 decades. What
it's
has
like,
changed? You know,
you know what I
I mean,
mean?
yo, look at and it's almost apples and oranges, but look at Papa John's guy. Remember when he came out? Some
Yo, what actually happened with Pop? I was just seeing, so something came across my feed like today or yesterday or something like that, and was talking about the downfall of Papa John's, and I didn't click the video. What actually happened? What
All
actually?
right, so it's funny. 'Cause I got this. I had this meme on my phone. It's like the Papa John's guy. He goes on because he came out and quote. He goes, "I've been working on saying the N word. I've been saying it a lot less lately." So it was like the meme was like, "You're gonna say the N word 3 times today, not five." You know, it's like
Oh my
so. It's
god!
just like I think it was either again a phone call or a leaked conversation came out. He mentioned, you know, the N word, or he kind of referenced black people as the N word, and you know, of course, it gets back to shareholders. Then things leak out. It became this big viral moment. He ended up losing his majority stake in the company,
Okay,
which is why you now see Shaq as the spokesperson, because Shaq came in and said, "Yo, all right," and
I'm
you
black.
know, yeah, and same thing we see with Red Lobster. I mean, like, not saying that it was a symmetry in regards to racism, but once you put
Oh,
black
you
in the
froze?
position of the helm, I froze.
Yeah, yeah, you were freezing. Oh, that's never happened
Oh, that's
before.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's not. Yeah, kind
carry
of
on. We
glitch in the
good.
matrix, but none. I was just saying, like, even though it's apples and oranges, once you see a change of helm in regard to black prominence or black forefront of
Mm.
the marketing, it makes me think about Kanye's spaceship song. You know, uh, show off your token blackie. You know what I'm saying? We need a token
Let some
black guy to
black
make us
people
cool
walk
again.
in. I bet you show up the token
Token
blackie.
blackie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So like, yo, get Shacky up in here. Like,
yeah,
blacks love Shaq. You know, get him in here. You know,
yeah.
so um,
So
that that
so
that downfall happened in that regard. So
I'm reading it
you know,
right
it
now.
wound up.
So Papa
Yeah.
John's founder John Schnatter will be removed from Pizza Chain's branding after his use of the N-word forced his exit from the company. Schnatter quit as the chief executive last year after criticizing NFL players over the
Yes.
national anthem.
And you're
Um,
like the spokesperson. Like that was the number. Remember at the time before they
yeah, it
switched to
was him
to
and
Little Caesar.
Peyton Manning was always doing shit.
You do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you do that, bro. Like that's who you're partner with. That's like ill-advised guys. We're giving you guys this great financial advice, and hypothetically speaking, H&R Block is like, hey, we need to partner with these guys, and then we come on here like, yeah, H&R Block ain't shit. Like, they been ripping us off. They're just like, yo, they just gave us the bag, and y'all here we are. It's like,
Yeah. Well, I'm trying
yeah,
to
that
see.
ain't it.
So, do you know when he actually? I'm trying to see, like, in what
What was that,
context
like
he
20?
said it. Well, this is in 2018 that
I'm about to
he
say
resigned.
2018ish, bro.
But
Yeah.
I'm trying to see when Like, what did he actually say? He said the N word, but was he talking about the
Yeah,
NFL players, or was he like talking about
I
somebody?
think it was around that Kaepernick thing, around Cap kneeling.
Huh.
You know that cat. You know what? And one day, because you know how we tend to go for tangents, but one day we're gonna just from a different perspective. Like, was it worth it?
I
You know,
mean,
I think
for
I
who?
think we should exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think the intent was correct. I don't think the execution played out in best regard, and then it evolved into it to me like it evolved into a real nasty situation where it's like Cap just became like a figure, a skeleton of himself. It's always, hey, I'm ready to play, I'm ready to ball, but it's like your time has not only passed, but you've 180'd your image so much that I don't think you're not even an athlete no more. You're like the athlete formerly known as Kaepernick. Like you're an actor. You went
Oh
from athlete
yeah,
to
no,
activist.
absolutely. Oh no, that'd be cool to do a little deep
Touch
dive on
base.
Kaepernick. That'd be
Like, was
cool.
it worth it? Like not
I mean,
saying
I think
like
he's gonna definitely say that it was worth it, because
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
when you think of, like, he did some incredible things as a football player. Remember,
Right.
some of his runs were crazy. Like like some of the best moments of watching football was some of
Yeah,
those
his
games that
highlight.
he played against the Packers, against the Ravens. Like, he had some, in the playoffs, had some big games, right?
Brought
Um,
spark back to San Francisco.
yeah,
Where
big
like
time.
the black, like almost like a blackish version of Jeff Garcia, but
Oh
way
no,
more
absolutely, and that was a
athleticism.
cool thing because he was a continuation of a legacy that was already
Yeah.
there with Steve Young and Jeff Garcia. Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely, yeah. Then he was just a whole different He was a better runner, obviously, than either of them. But it was like, you're watching the game evolve. You're watching, 49ers quarterbacks evolve right in front of you. And yeah, so that was, man, should we let's
We could
put a pin
harp.
on no, let's put a pin on
Yeah,
this
yeah,
and
yeah,
let's come back to
yeah.
this, because I want to
Because
touch on,
it's
like,
deep. It's
yeah,
deep. Yeah, bro. Because it's deep, like you
yeah,
said.
nah,
But just to kind of put a button on the Hulkster,
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah,
I also it correlates to like you said the original topic of Ozzy and Malcolm Jamal Warner. I feel like that our culture, our people are still mourning Malcolm Jamal. The outpour, the outcry, especially amongst his peers, has been vast. I really feel like the response, and not comparing tragedies or mournings because everybody mourns differently. It just felt more canned from Vince McMahon. It just felt, and then it's just like Vince McMahon isn't like the most best public. I probably would have got like I probably would have been putting out like statements from like his family before Vince. Like Vince doesn't have the most best reputation these days. Like and then you two together, great. It just sounded very canned. I also like to separate the athlete slash artist from their work because again, not to compare tragedies or apples to oranges, but it makes me think back when Kobe had passed and people were reflecting on him as a player and him as a person, and it was for his death. I appreciated him more as an athlete.
yeah,
I never, even while he was alive, I never cared for Kobe as a person. There was a lot of things that Kobe said and did. I just didn't care for him as a person.
yeah.
I respect a lot of his outlooks. I
Mm-hmm.
respect like looking back on his life, like
Same.
his athletic mentality, the way he executed things. It reminded me a lot of myself as an athlete. I'm like, oh, okay, like I was
Yeah,
kind of on
yeah.
that tier, in that air. So it made you kind of reinforce your own beliefs, but like him as a person, like from the things that I was gathering while he was alive, some of the things that he was doing, I just wasn't fond of it. And it makes you spin the block back to Hulk. Growing up as a young wrestling fan, Macho Man was my dude. Like I love Macho Man. It was just his charisma, his voice, his swag. It's crazy, but like, it was just like I used to keep the little cream. Um, on my joint. Like I used to keep a good little thing of cream on my desk. It actually be like in high power sales. Like, why you got this cream on your desk? And I would show them that Macho Man video. It's like, because of the cream of the crop rise to the top. You know what I'm saying? Period. So I got this cream. Like, I would do just like him, do a little dance and everything. So like, he was that dude. So to me, like, he was way more electrifying. Macho Man made wrestling electrifying in the 80s. See that flying, a simple flying elbow. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like a hardcore move. Like Hulk, he and Hulk were kind of like of the same symmetry. And I think again, they both were trademarked. They both had their signature trademarks of their own. Hulk was known for ripping that shirt, you know, which is kind of like a play on of the Incredible Hulk, but that's neither here nor there. But Terry, I forget Hulk's real name, but Terry as a person, I just wasn't fond of. Man.
Yeah. And it's like he was listen, if this wrestler that was meant something to you as a kid, if his passing means something to you, okay.
God bless. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Not from the ill-advised guys. Sorry, not sorry, bro. And just it capping on with Ozzy too. For you people like out here, it was just like who want to put like even people in your hood who you know were just criminals and freaking terrors. Yo, and I'm not God. I ain't gonna say it in place of my, but yo, when you proclaim to be the Prince of Darkness and everything you do revolves around like darkness and Luciferian, themes, I don't think heaven would be your final resting place, bro. Like I think you pretty much had your allegiance with who you said you was down with, and that's all I'm about. Like even when cats was doing a whole conspiracy theory about living artists, oh this person unfortunate, and if they do, yo, to me, bro, just say you do. Like just say you do, bro. I'm not knocking you,
Wait,
son.
say you do what?
Like yo, so hypothetically speaking, allegedly, like if you are down with some secret fraternal celebrity order, if you in your videos, you know what I'm saying, all this, if you doing all the subliminals and symbolisms, and this is what you rep, yo, rep that, because then when you get pressed about it, it's like yo, y'all bugging, it's conspiracy theories. Yo, things have definition, things have meanings. So when Ozzy is biting bats heads off, drinking the blood, saying he's the Prince of Darkness, throwing up 666, you align yourself with Lucifer. Like, yo, I don't want to see people like, yo, I know he's in heaven dancing with such a, yo, bro, no, he's not.
Because if he believed in heaven, then he knew that he was not angling for that, for sure.
An ancient
Yeah.
fact. Just like I got homies that I came up with, God bless their soul, they dead. And I say that out of respect. But yo, bro, I know where you at,
Yeah,
homie.
like
I know what
you
did.
got the homies looking up at you, for sure.
For real, looking down at you like, yo.
Nah, they looking up at you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like on the bottom of my souls, look, homie, like that's crazy. Like so, and I don't mean to be that dissensitive, but I'm also just a realist in that sense. Like we really got to just stop the nonsense. Like we got to just stop putting everybody like in these perfect nutshells, and they really button it off with Malcolm Jamal Warner. I got further news. I kind of saw like I think he was in Aruba. And they showed like a picture of like the riptides, man. And I just want to say that to anybody because we still we're in that final leg of summer. And not only Malcolm Jamal Warner, it was a recent death in a young black boy. Father lost his son to the brain eating amoeba. That's yeah, they are in fresh water. And I say it because you and I are in some pretty warm climate areas throughout the year.
Yes.
Scott and I, we both live in
very year, baby.
12 months a year, baby. It's hot, baby. We up, we in the south.
Ain't no more Jersey winters, man.
Nah, we don't shovel snow. We just look at
yeah.
it. From YouTube. Like, man, that sucks to be y'all. But where we are, these southern states, it's so unfortunate because it's such a rarity that these happen. And I heard about this. The last time I heard about it, it was actually, I think it was a young white girl in Florida that suffered from it. And when you jumping and like freshwater lakes or water holes, you need to have nose plugs because this stuff, when it happens when you're diving and the water goes into it flush into your nose and these amoebas attach on, go straight to the brain, bro. They literally eat through like your brain wall, and it's
If you
nothing
need
you
to
can
give
do. There's
black
no
people,
cure. There's nothing.
if you need to give black people any more reason not to touch water, tell them that.
Yo, go Google it. If you think do your Googles, do your AI searches, all of that, man. And
That's crazy.
this young, yeah, man. And I just say all that to say, man, like we in this final laps between like, TLC said it best, man. Don't go chasing waterfalls, man. And
That's a crazy way to tie that up.
Yo, we got this,
You funny as
brother,
hell.
man. Like you could be the most
funny as
experienced swimmer when you are in danger.
Yeah, you ain't.
Panic sets in.
Yeah.
Look, know your limits, man. It's unfortunate we're
Nah,
losing
facts.
people to things that are avoidable. It's one thing with
Yeah,
things out of your
I
control.
feel that. I feel that.
That could have been avoided, man. So thoughts and prayers to Malcolm Jamal Warner and his
For
family.
sure.
Thoughts and
Yeah, the
prayers to Hulk and
situation
his
was
family.
so sad, bro.
Yeah,
Homie went out for a morning swim.
and
Crazy.
it's just the thing. Like had that just been like, all right, so instead of the beach, I'm just gonna go like on the resort pool. I'm just gonna stay in the 4-foot section. It's just like, and maybe I'll be 39 in a few weeks. So maybe it's just my frame of thought, but maybe it's that kind of thinking that's kept me alive. But like, I just don't be like, I'm not in the mood to chase a thrill, even when I had the energy and the wherewithal to do so. I'm just about like the full logical, bigger picture and preservation of life. How is this benefiting me? How's this benefiting my life? How's, like, God forbid something happens to me. Like, you see people losing fingers on 4th of July as grown men. Like, bro,
See,
this
like,
your whole life.
So I'm all about chasing thrills, but
Me too.
I don't want to die stupid.
No.
It's like a thing where I don't want to, as I'm on my way up, be like, oh, for real?
Mad.
You know what I mean?
Mad,
like that's
dying,
how I went. You know what I mean? I don't want that. You know what I mean? So the easily avoidable things, I'm all about the thrill. But yeah, calculated risk.
Facts.
And while I have this up, so because I had to look up what happened to the Papa John's doing. So I guess October 2017, he criticized the NFL players for kneeling. And he blamed that on the sales, because their sales were doing worse at that time.
Yes.
And I guess he blamed the NFL players kneeling for that, which, we're definitely going to do a deep dive on Kaepernick in that whole era. That's, put a pin on that. But January 1st, he stepped down as a CEO, but he remained the chairman, January 1st, 2018. And then May 2018, that's when that, so, and what he said was, Colonel Sanders called blacks the N-word, and Sanders never faced backlash. So I guess that was like an internal training thing that got leaked out. Yeah. Anyways, man, we don't gotta stay on that, but yeah.
Yo, we going definitely hard for that, because I gotta circle the block on that comment. Like, really, bro? Like, really? Like, all right, cool. Say less.
It's just funny, people who are obviously, I don't know Papa John, right? He may be a great person, and he may be like, I was gonna say he may be like good to black people, but I just feel like there's an obvious disconnect with, to be able to say certain things. Like, there's clearly a disconnect between you and black people. As much as you may think that you don't hate black people, or much as you don't hate black people, you have ignorant ideologies and ignorant perspectives that you're clearly not aware of.
Tried the barbecue chicken pizza. Like, that's his idea. I love black people. We come up with the latest and greatest of ideas from them. Brothers, shut up. Like,
crazy, man. Let's talk about Let's talk about New York, because you're from New York, and there's a lot of things going on in New York, right? So first of all, you heard about the shooting that happened. I guess that happened today, with a gunman running in.
More details. More details came out today.
So he ran. I mean, we're actually talking about the NFL, so it's kind of a segue.
It makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
He went to the NFL building in New York, and he killed a couple people, and I guess he was talking about CTE. And how that had because he was like a football player, I guess, in high school. And I don't know, they're still putting all the pieces to the story.
Yeah.
But I guess he's saying that he suffered from CTE, and he was citing some other football player that also talked about that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that, because we're both all-star athletes in high school, and both probably got hit in the head a bunch. So
listen, both probably had the right sizable helmets on. You know, so yeah, and just to kind of go off your last comment, that momentum, yeah, we both, because we had that conversation, we both were, you know, high school, and even post high school athletics, and still to some degree athletes of these days. We're just not competing. And I always tell people, football. People I've heard even on the nightcap, you know, shout out to Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. Ocho said that football is a contact sport, and my dad will always correct me. He goes, "No, son." He goes, "Football is a collision sport." He goes, "Basketball is
That's
contact. Football is
a good
collision."
distinction. That's a good distinction.
It's a huge distinction.
Yeah,
those 4 downs is a car accident.
Yeah.
For those 4 downs, bro, we're crashing into each other at 15, 20 miles an hour. Go hop in your car right now at 20 miles an hour and go crash into a tree. See how you feel. With no seatbelt on.
Nah, facts.
And see how you feel.
In football, every single play, it's designed for you to hit somebody every single time.
Every single time.
Yeah. And depending on what you play, like I was running back. I was a running back, and that was my main position, that defensive end. But yeah, so I knew every time that I touched the ball, I'm gonna take some damage.
You're taking hits.
You know what I mean?
Especially from your position.
Yeah.
You know, I play wide out on you know, wide receiver, on offense, on defense, you know, safety, corner, and every now and then I got on that D-line too. And
yeah, I used to play on the D-line. Good times, man.
Boy, that was fun. Yeah, I know the speed rushing, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, that was the man. Like, but I love safety, because I love playing safety, because safety was like the best of both worlds for me. You know, I get to use my speed and I get to crash into you. So it was just like, and I get to see everything happen at once. So then that's when like the toll started to weigh in. You know, and you know, you flying down from the secondary and you catching somebody in a clean lick, bro. Sometimes, and I'm from the this era.
That was before CTE. You're from the before CTE was even a conversation. You're from before, like head safety was even they was still spearing, like when I first started playing, like
What? Yes. Get low, square your shoulders, keep your neck up. Go hit, if you get to that fate, hit all here. You know, and sometimes, bro, you taking the recoil alone. It's been times, brother, I done seen the light. I'm just like, whoa, like what am I doing?
I remember one time I got hit. So, you know, I came through, whatever, got the ball, boom, 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 did my thing, got past one dude, got cleaned by another dude, right? I got hit so hard that my contact popped out of my eye, bro. I'm on the ground and my contact popped out, and this dude gets up and he's like talking all crazy. And then shout out Kevin Jean, my boy Kevin Jean. So he gets up and he's barking at that dude. Cause it was a decent run. I made, you know, it was like 7 yards. You know what I'm saying? So it was something. But, you know, my guy had my back. But it also gave me time to like collect myself, because I played the next down. You feel me? So if I can get hit so hard that my contact comes out and I play the next down, like, what do you think is going on with my brain?
Bro.
You know what I mean? And that's happening every single play. That's happening every single play. You know, football's a crazy sport, but yeah, I think they say like 98% of NFL players have CTE.
I think I'm gonna do it. I think, you know, when that day comes, I may just, you know, probably put in to get the brain study. I feel like my family should know, because I feel like my behavior has been a bit different. You know, I've been a little more aggressive, or, you know,
scary to think how much of that comes from that. Like, you know, my memory, I could put it on my ADD or put it on other things, but like, I also got hit in the head like hundreds of times growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Playing football. On my GYG.
Yeah, I mean, there's different things. But you know, like, to that you're talking about the anger, the aggression, different things. Right. There's like CTE is at least something that we're from, like we know the words, but does anybody
Symptoms.
really know all the symptoms of it? You know what I'm saying?
And you're living with them. And you're living with them.
And
You
you're
know, because
living with them.
you don't get the diagnosis until you die. So I think there needs to be a way that we could preliminary find, like, I'm pretty sure there's some chemical changes that are indicators or can begin like to be early sirens of, hey, you're showing these levels in your chemistry.
Bro,
And
there's too much money in it, man. There's too much money in
right,
it.
you know,
There's too much money in
like
football. They ain't that. All of that is. Trust me, somebody they know all that.
tell the truth.
You know.
Tell
Okay,
tell the truth.
I never actually saw that, Joey. I never saw.
Yo,
That's
I mean,
concussion,
listen,
right? That's the name of that one.
yeah, I mean, that's just the highlight of it right there. So you just seen it. You just seen it right there. Like us talking for them 10 minutes of me saying, tell the truth. That's the movie.
Yeah,
We just did it.
but
You know,
yeah, man.
but homie, apparently left a letter, and he said to study his brain and that he
Oh
could have
shit,
CTE.
really?
Yeah, he did. This just came out today, and just like because when you said that he targeted the NFL building, that was the details that came out because that building was also home. You know, people for the listeners who are in other countries that we're reaching, welcome. People who are in other states, in New York, in New York City, these tall skyscrapers aren't just like home to one particular thing. Each floor, this could be a skyscraper with 50 floors. Each of those floors could have like literally 50 suites in there. So this particular floor he was reaching, people said, like, I know the news because it's sensationalized and it's also true. He did attack. He wasn't going to attack the police per se. He wanted to make a statement. The police precinct was in that building, but as well as it housed some Fortune 100 and 500 companies like Blackstone, like the NFL. So he was looking to target the NFL in regards to, as me and Scott just mentioned, or Scott and I just mentioned, for what he believed or what he left in a note saying was CTE. Now, I do have to say, and again, we're not experts on this. A little bit too precise, guy. A little bit too well thought of and well planned for you to get all the way from Nevada, leaving notes, and you know exactly where you want to go. You strolling in with the AR, the M1, whatever the thing was.
Oh yeah, we definitely not saying that's like strictly a CTE thing. There's other stuff on top of that.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Brother was a private
not trying to say
investigator.
he did that simply because of that, but hey, who knows how much that added to it?
Yeah, and because then it's like it makes me delve back into his career and life, because how do you quantify, perhaps perhaps the amount of time that we play sports is enough to say, yeah, you know what, they're in the preliminary stages of developing CTE just due to their exposure based upon the hours, amount of football that we played, on the levels that we played. This kid was apparently like a pretty big deal where he came from. Like, he wasn't like, some the whole world revolved around him, but he was in those talks. He's getting post game interviews.
Like he had aspirations to get to the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also feel like that plays a part to it as well. Perhaps he's beating himself up like the woulda, coulda, shouldas.
Absolutely. And then you start looking around at who you could blame for your life not, going the way. Because I know how it is when you growing up, like, and I don't know how we grew up, but when you have these like big ambitions and you're thinking like, this is the only way there is for me to, reach my potentials or to change my life or provide for my family or be successful. And then all of a sudden it's not an option anymore. And then you're looking around at, why, I see that. That's not a new story. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's something that leads like a lot of men, leads a lot of men to, have internal battles,
Right.
So yeah, who knows? We're psychoanalyzing this guy. We don't know him at all. Like this story really just came out.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah,
like,
true.
we're here to be ill-advised.
Yeah,
we're advising you illy. Hey, this is what You take what we're saying and you go, listener,
Yeah.
and verify and where to spark that thought and add to it. Please comment,
True, true,
correct me
true.
and Scott.
Yeah,
We're
facts.
looking for the engagement,
Facts.
please. And we just want to also say, and I'm pretty sure Scott will agree, if you are out there and you are suffering, or you feel as if that you know somebody that's suffering from any type of mental distress, depression, even anger, because anger, all this stuff is hand in hand. This is what, 2025. This is like the first year, like I'm beginning to come out of my nutshell and begin to speak out about mental health. I used to kind of look at it like, oh, Cass is doing this. Like Charlemagne just said to be cool. It's a cool talking point, man. Everybody got depression, and it's just like, nah, bro. When you got days where you're really like in bed, like, yo, I'm about to call out, like when you try to configure ways in your brain to be like, I don't want to deal with life, yo, bro, speak up and say something. Because sometimes people do, like, some people are just being like a little bit emotional, and God, just let yourself digress a little bit. Or we're making a big deal out of nothing. Even myself, I catch myself doing that. Like, yo, man, what am I really mad about? Like, I'm upset about this, and then I come across somebody that's like, hey, man, I just lost my foot. You can just be like, all right, yo,
Perspective
at
is
least I can tie
important.
my shoe.
Nah, perspective is very important. Yeah, man, definitely big on the mental health advocacy. Actually, shout out Clarity.
Shout out
Yeah,
clarity.
big shout out Clarity. So one of their focuses is mental clarity. It's around mental health, especially in the Black community. It's just something that was uh never really prioritized. Um, Something that's not really talked about. Growing up, man, so many different like rabbit holes we can go down. But yeah, yo,
Yeah, we'll
so
put it.
like growing up, and my mom, like very extremely strong woman, right? She was always such a positive force in our lives. There was twice growing up. Like I missed my first day of high school because my mom was in the hospital for anxiety. Right? I thought everything was cool beforehand, but then all of a sudden she's getting picked up by an ambulance. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are walking around with a mask on. And then, you know, some years later, I'm there in a hospital getting getting treated. You know what I'm saying? I had like, my depression, and um I had to get therapy for a while. I was like, I really went through it, and therapy was one of the like greatest things that I ever went through, man. To
Glad
to
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 hear
like
that.
to learn about my brain, to understand why I'm thinking the way I think, under
Mm-hmm.
like learning about cognitive distortions and how I'm like
Right,
just processing things incorrectly.
right,
You know
right.
what I mean?
That's what I'm interested in myself. I'm about to embark on this journey, this
Yo,
year. So
therapy is
yeah,
obviously, like, you need to have the right therapist. So,
right.
make sure you get the right therapist. But man, when you have somebody who, an impartial person who like studies the brain, who understands all these different, like, depression it's a chemical imbalance. It's not, you can't just like think your way out of a chemical imbalance. You know what I mean? But a lot of life events like can change your brain chemistry. So when it comes to
Brain
things like
chemistry.
anxiety, depression, like all these
Mm-hmm.
different things, the stress of life, and stress is the number one cause of any illness.
Lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Cholesterol.
Mental and
Yes,
physical. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Stress is what causes that. It's like it's this two-way thing where we stress too much, and stress
Mm-hmm.
causes these things. So you can't stress, but you also have to like take the things that are stressing you out like seriously. So it's just one of the things you gotta watch for. So yeah,
It's a
to
fact.
what you're saying, definitely, to everybody watching, everybody listening, like, make sure you prioritize your mental health. There's nothing weird or weak or anything like
Right,
that about
right.
making
Reach
sure you're
out.
straight. If you want to get strong
Yeah.
physically, make sure you like go to the doctor and get everything checked out, because you don't want to be doing some crazy workouts and then find out that you just like you have bad shoulders, you know what I'm saying, or you
Hey,
have bad knees, you know what I'm saying, and then you're over there
like
putting
me.
too much pressure on this thing that You know what I'm saying? That's
Thinking that pain is strength, and it's like, no, that's your body saying no.
yeah, that's your body saying chill. Yeah, so
I can't take
and your
that.
mental is more important than your physical. So everything starts there. So most definitely, most definitely.
I agree.
September, we're coming up on September. I think September is Suicide Awareness Month. Um,
So
I know suicides are up actually. Yo, life is just getting more stressful. Don't be a
it is.
superhero. Like, get help.
Yeah,
There's
a lot
resources
of
out
people
there.
on it.
Get help.
It is.
Don't be too strong to get help.
Don't beat yourself up to, don't overanalyze the help to the point where you just paralyzing your decision making. Just start with the most simplest and affordable form. But and I say affordable, whether it's free, it's like Scott said, filter through, find that right impartial person that you feel good with speaking to, and start from there. And you ain't no telling, but it definitely starts in, like anything else in this world, is communication.
Yeah, yeah.
So, because ain't no telling what that brother was going through, that he could have possibly communicated that before committing that vile act that cost the lives of such innocent people, which also leaves a lot,
Yeah, there was
and
mothers, like, you know what I'm saying? There's people like the mothers and fathers that just,
one of the, rest in peace, Officer Islam,
yup,
I forget his first name, but Officer Islam, who has two young boys, and
yup,
his wife was pregnant.
yup, with a third.
Um, big thoughts and prayers, because she's gonna need a lot of therapy. The woman who he let get off the elevator, and you're walking past dead people, and now you're thinking to yourself, like, why did I get spared? You feel me? Like, what made him not kill me? Like, so she got to live with that. Hope she
Trauma.
gets the help. That's it's a lot. Like, they said one person, and I'm sorry to take it to this level of the podcast, but they said, one woman was hiding behind like the
Oh, the
podium type
pillar,
of thing.
yeah. Then he went and
It's
like
like,
hunned her down. Yeah,
and
no, it
it
was
just like,
like he was a sick dude. He was absolutely a sick dude.
that makes no sense to me, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, you woke up that day thinking it's like another day at the job, and like the plans that
Yo,
you
that's a
know
scary thing about life, man. That's a scary thing about life. And like
size up
we're in
every house.
America, so like that's just something you gotta always factor in, the like somebody might run up in here with a gun, because it's just way too easy to get guns. So
And
it's just something you always
and
gotta,
yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
something else I want to touch on another episode, is gun violence.
Mm,
Because I think it played a degree in our personal lives
mm-hmm,
on some levels.
mm-hmm.
Whether it's a first person interaction, a third person interaction, at some degree of separation that we have regarding it. And based on our environments and experiences, I think that we could hop on with the audience,
Yeah,
amongst,
bro.
like,
It's
other.
yeah, that'd be cool, man. That'd be cool, because that's definitely a conversation that we could talk about, because yeah, there's a lot to there's a lot to
Unpack.
that, and we always have very nuanced takes, right?
Yeah,
So I think that would be a good conversation for sure.
yeah.
Because
It
I'm
was other
I'm in
stuff
Texas
that,
right now. People like people open carry to go get brunch. You feel me? It's like it's wild, bro. Yeah. So I'm like, I
banging at
like
the
I'm
brunch.
one of those, like, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. There's more guns than there are people in this country. So like
Like,
I don't know what the remedy is, bro. I don't know.
yeah,
I just don't want to be without one when shit goes down, you know?
that too. That too. I think you just need, like, like we do. Uh, you got to just touch base, and you got to just make sure that people are still mentally, straight to be handling this type of, because folks really do
Bro, in
use
Texas, you could get it with no permit. Like you could, like,
facts.
anybody could just go and grab anything in
I think
so
it's like
many
that in North
places in
Carolina too.
Texas, bro.
Yeah, I think North Carolina did that. I think they're trying to repeal that. I think they did the same thing. You don't need the permit, bro. Pull up. And I'm trying to take advantage while I can. Like, let me get a couple while I, hey, if you want the good guys, again, sometimes certain things is bend in your favor,
There was a stabbing at Walmart. I think that was today or yesterday, where there was some dude that was going around stabbing a bunch of people.
Yes, 11 people.
Yeah, 11 people. He was stopped by a black dude with a gun.
See? You
Yeah,
know?
he didn't shoot him, but yeah, he was like, "Yo, don't," you know what I'm saying? Don't
Hey,
move.
yeah, yeah, hold it down. Like, and
Yeah.
see, like, And people, I ain't gonna do it. We on a podcast, but like, like, yo, a blade, bro. Like where I come from, I'd have been like, yo, that joint would turn to beat it. Like, oh man, you got the right one, bro. Like, I've been waiting for this. Like, so let the killing begin, bro. Like, but again, but that's just the mindset we in. People aren't. Before it's like they really harp on the gun violence and the bad guys with the guns. Hey, man, evil's gonna be evil. Evil's
And
gonna
it's
be
just
evil.
like again, evil's gonna be evil, and it's just so accessible. So
It's so
I don't know
accessible.
the remedy.
Yeah, we're not the guys with the answers.
I don't have the
We're
answers
just
on that one.
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
because there's also
yeah.
like the ideal answer, then there's also like the
Right,
practical one, like what's
right.
actually practical to get through. Don't know what's
Yes,
practical. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? There's again money. There's a lot of
Yes,
money. There's a lot
and
of
arms
money in
dealing. Yeah, I
maintaining.
agree.
You know what I'm saying? This easy access environment.
I agree. I
I
agree.
don't know, man. But so while we're on New York, I also wanted to again because Michael's a New York guy. You can hear it when he talks. Very.
Sorry.
I wanted to get your thoughts on Zoran Mamdani. I don't know if you know anything about him, but he won the Democratic primary for mayor, so he's projected to win the mayorship in New York.
Should have
And
betted on that.
what
Should
was
have
that?
betted on. I said I should have betted on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they got this thing going on. I ain't gonna say what app because they don't pay us, but yeah, you could do stuff
Mm,
like that.
mm.
Pay us and we'll say your name.
Is it
Um,
Polymarket?
no, but they could pay us too.
Yeah, that's the last time I say anybody's name.
Yeah.
That's the only one I know that you could bet on elections.
No,
So
no, this one it rhymes with Bipto. You know what I'm saying? So, Bipto.bomb. You know what I'm saying? You could do the yeah.
you can vote on elections, bro. This
Yo, it's
bro, our
nuts.
society's
Yeah.
cooked, bro. We are
It was cooked,
cooked.
bro. Here we are.
Bro, if we
Here
are
we are.
cooked. We already have the
You know,
president that has his own meme coins, and
yes,
the
yes.
whole first family has coins, and there's so
And
much
here
corruption with
we
that,
are.
bro. That's
And now you
so
could bet
funny.
on, who could win an election and who can, or what the Fed's, decision going to be. But for old boy taking that victory for New York, I did hear one comment that he made, literally one comment. Besides like the other surprises that came to my mind when it came to him, but the one comment I heard him say was like his tax plan for New York was like he wanted to kind of make it similar, like for the businesses, the corporate tax plan. He was like similar to New Jersey. He's like, oh, if they could afford New Jersey, then why can't they afford New York? And it's just like, brother, that's apples and oranges. I think that most people. I lived in New Jersey for a number of years.
By the way, remember we're
Scott,
talking to a financial guru right now, so I'm listening.
yeah, I think that people when they think of Jersey, or Jersey City, Newark, Jersey, they think that it's like a little New York. People don't know the whole scope of New Jersey,
Oh yeah,
like
no, it's called the Garden State for a reason.
for a reason, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just because of like the botanicals of it.
Mm.
Yo, your number one for anybody out there listening. And this isn't a shame. This is not a shameless plug. They ain't give us the bag. This is just historical facts. If the number one chocolate that you're eating is what? I mean, I ain't gonna say number one because it's kind of like neck and neck depending on your opinion. Some people may say Hershey's. Long story long is, yo, if you like M&Ms, if you like Snickers,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
Jersey.
Mars.
Hey.
Jersey, dog.
North Jersey.
Hackettstown.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hackettstown.
Yeah.
Like, that's where their headquarters at. So people, a multi-billion-dollar business.
Yeah.
And for y'all else that don't know, because like Scott said, I'm all about that financing that business. M&M Mars owns Wrigley's. So Wrigley's gum, that's all under Mars. Anything Wrigley's owned, historical family, the Wrigley's family, is been under Mars for quite some time now. So, like I said, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that's in New Jersey. On top of like Glaxo and Smith that gets their production done in Parsippany. We got like, I'm sorry, I can go down the list.
There's a
Yeah,
bunch of huge
yo,
companies.
bro, my boy, you need to slow it down from New York City. Businesses will leave. They will dip.
Do you think they'll actually leave?
Bro, I'm in So for y'all that don't know, for the listeners, yo, I live in the beautiful state of North Carolina. You know, I'm located in what they call, I'm located on your damn business. That's where I'm at, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
all
yeah.
in the
You don't
mix.
need to know all that.
I say all that to say, like, we got Apple has their campus down here. Google has some of their campus down here. There's a company called Jet Zero, which is the future of airplanes. Feel free to go look them up. That's bringing the first ever factory to manufacture these planes down here. Almost 15,000 jobs are going to be provided. South of here, of course, is South Carolina. My buddy, one of my good friends, he lived in a place called Somerville, South Carolina. I know what you're saying, listeners. What? Yeah, Somerville, South Carolina. The only thing that stood out to me was AJ Green, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. You can't even get a house in Somerville, South Carolina. It used to be the sticks. You know why? Because Volvo, Boeing, they all open, and BMW open these gigafactories right outside of Charleston and Somerville. Yo, you can't even get a house. They said it doesn't even look the same. I want to go back to go see. Because this can't be the Somerville that I visited back in damn near 20 years ago when it was nothing. Like nothing. The Quick Trip was this place, the spot to be. You can't even get a crib in Somerville. So, you know, I say all that to say economic where Scott is in Texas, bro, is booming. It's for my people who are in New York, for these businesses that are seeing this, they will end up in a Texas, they will end up in a North Carolina, they may end up in a Florida. They don't have to stay in New York. If you're gonna rip them to shreds with taxes, that city still hasn't recovered fully from COVID. This is why they're coming up with ways. This is the same city that was trying to charge people tolls for Midtown. I
Yeah,
think they still got that in place.
yeah, yeah.
So they're trying to recover for the revenue somewhere.
Mhm.
So you're going to push businesses out by saying that you're going to tax them crazy, like the way that they're doing in Jersey, like crazy the way that they're doing in Jersey. But you know,
Yeah.
because you think, you know, because they're right there, nah. It's
It,
more to it, man. It's
yeah.
more to it. I think being a mayor of one of the biggest cities in the world is a lot of pressure because I know people may think like it's such like a prominent political office. It's the beginning of a prominent political office. You know, if you make it to mayor, you're kind of almost catapulted or expected to take it to the next levels of politics, which is
I
going to
mean,
be like a
he's like
governor.
33 years old, so he's got a
He got the gas in the
yeah,
tank.
he's got a lot
You know,
of
he could
bright
be in
future.
politics for 30 years and still end up as a senator.
Yeah. No,
You
exactly.
know,
Yeah.
so, but it all starts with this, you know, the ties that you're making now. I don't think that that's wise. And again, you know, this is politics, aka politics, and people's perspectives and opinions change. So I could forecast seeing him changing up his swag if he does get into office
Well,
because
yeah,
you got
yeah. Also, I mean, who knows if what's actually going to be implemented? You know,
exactly because they, you know,
he's
you get
saying a
leaned
lot of
on.
things that are like, you know, in line with each other, but who knows what he's actually going to be able to, you know,
Right.
it's like he's going to be
Execute.
able to, you know, unilaterally uh change the taxing structure, you know, up
Yeah,
there. So, but you know,
exactly.
interestingly enough, he's actually backed by like he's backed by like Wall Street. Like more wealthy people voted for him than for Cuomo.
Then, I mean,
Like it's crazy, bro. He wants free busing, free childcare, um, free busing. He wants to freeze the rent, and he wants to do that the taxing, you know, on the corporations. And bro, like every demographic is just loves this guy.
sounds good, but like, I mean,
Talk to me,
free.
bro. Talk to me.
Yo, well, listen, it sounds good because like the free busing, they do that down here. If you go to Chapel Hill, Durham, it's been free since COVID, and I just actually had some clients of mine confirm it. It's still free today. They just never did it. Chapel Hill's always been free.
I'm
So
glad you say this because the concept of free busing is throwing people crazy, but there's like a lot of places that's already implemented. It's just
implement
whenever you're
it's not
saying something's free, people are like, socialist Marxism, communism. But it's like I mean, North Carolina is a I mean, it's
purple.
purple, but yeah. It,
Cooper's running for senator, and he's beloved here.
mm,
They have a Democratic governor, Democratic attorney general. But it's a very purple state. It really is. One of the more attracting points to a lot of people too. Because they're very progressive here. In regards to just having these type of conversations. Free again, you harped on it perfectly. People hear free, they think that it comes at a social economic cost. When in reality, we're just rediverting funds, and people really fail to realize that buses, because we haven't frequented them like that. The last time I took a bus was maybe a year or two ago in Virginia, and it was free, and it was actually electric. And it was an electric bus, and it was also, he told me, it was a hybrid. It was, excuse me, it was a hybrid bus. It was electric and bio. It was like a very clean fuel. It wasn't like gas though. So it's like, it's not the buses of like back in the day where they taking off and you see the black smog coming out, like, and it's all soot all around the windows. Nah, these buses are plush, bro. Like, they're quiet, they're clean, they're less on the emissions
I
that
was
they're
gonna say
putting
the
out.
emissions, the traffic. There's gonna be less traffic because of it.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Like, I think it's a push. I think we need to really start to come together. I don't know if I'm becoming like uh hippie-ish or whatever, but like as I get older, like I'm serious. It's like, yo, we spend, like, the military budget is like, if we allocate like 2%, less than 2.5%
bro.
of
They're
that
talking about
goes for
having $1
like
trillion
medical advancement.
budget. They want $1
Come on.
trillion military budget, bro.
On that much guns, bombs, like, and we
Yeah.
could put 2.5% of this towards medical advancement, bro.
Mm.
Like, I'm talking about, man, the visions I be having in my head, man. I'm
Well,
telling you.
yo, but I, everything comes down to money. Everything comes down to not just money specifically. I'm being too broad with that. It's about who's getting the money and who's controlling where the money goes, right? And who gets it. Because when it comes to something like public transit, the only reason why public transit isn't more there isn't more innovation there is because then the car companies will lose out. And some of the biggest American companies are car companies, you know. If they
The
invested
buses.
more in trains, if they invested more in buses, then the car companies lose out, of that. So you have these $1 billion, car companies that lobby to make sure that those advancements don't
Do
actually
they?
go through.
But do they? Because like, to me,
Mm.
on a human level, this whole thing can be worked out and ironed out. Like, so, great point that you raise. Car companies take a hit, right? All right, so why not redevelop? I think companies like Honda, in the Honda commercial where they were showing over the years, they just kept rising to the challenge. They made a race car, they made an airplane, they made a lawnmower. Like, so car companies, if you were to take this hit that Scott hypothetically brought up, what's to stop to say let's redirect our strategies to get a bid, to get a contract, a government contract, hello SpaceX, with the government to say, hey, we'll make the buses. Put in a contract. Let us make the bus.
Well,
Let's submit our designs and say we make the buses.
because there's already bus companies.
It's already bus companies.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's how you get your revenue back. Then they pay you for the buses, because now they will form as independent operators, and there are ways to figure this out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the money comes from taxes. The same roads that these buses are tearing up that we're paying taxes to fix, pay the taxes to pay for the bus and transportation system.
But
Like, it's
yeah,
already
the
there.
thing, um if it was
That's
like financially advantageous to go that route, I'm sure they would have done that a long time ago.
And see, I think that's the part that we keep circumnavigating back on. Once you eliminate the monetary construct, which is money, once
Mm.
you take that end game out, who making money? Nobody.
Mm.
No one's making money. We're all being taxed for this so you can use it. Whether you're going to use it or not, I encourage you to use it.
Yeah, I mean
Period. If you're paying for it, use it.
you're
If the
talking about
train,
democratic socialism, just so you know.
how dare I? How dare I? And we need this hybrid, because, like, I do believe in getting it from the mud. I do believe in pulling up your bootstraps. Yeah, of course. Like
Same,
I do
bro.
believe in eating what you kill, but
Bro,
at this,
it makes it so
yeah,
tough to have these like political conversations and stuff like that because people are so hardlined and being stuck on labels and stuff like that. Because in a lot of ways I participate in capitalism. I understand the benefits
mhm,
of it. All these things, but then at the same time, there's clear benefits to like our libraries and fire stations
yeah,
and police
yeah.
stations and schools. There's a lot of social programs that are ingrained in our society that we just don't even think about it. But the minute you talk about free busing, the minute you talk about free, child care, the minute you talk about, healthcare for all, the minute you talk about these things, it's like, it's so
Blasphemous.
crazy.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, blasphemy, exactly. But it's like, things can coexist.
And they can. And
Yeah,
it can work. And it can work.
yeah.
And I know we kind of spilt off from, Buddy and what's going on,
Mm,
but it really it kind of just circumnavigates back to that.
mm.
All of these resources that can be reallocated for the appropriate purpose, but things get interference, like you said, with monetary gains from people with ulterior motives.
Concentrate, like, yeah, like a very so the term oligarch has become very popular over the past year. um but it's not because we haven't already always kind of had this oligarchy where it's a small group of concentrated power and money that's sort of calling all the shots. But I just think it's never been so in your face where we had like
Yeah,
this president who's a billionaire, who surrounded
yeah,
himself with a cabinet of billionaires,
yeah,
whose presidency was bought by the richest man on the earth. What I mean?
yeah.
It was just like a too in your face oligarchy.
Like how, and then they had a fallout, like I said they would. Like, yo,
Well,
bro,
yeah,
come on, man.
yeah.
But the people aren't as dumb as they think. I know they think so, but the people, I honestly got a little bit more faith in the people with the way that information is spread and revealed. It's not like back in the day where you could put a lid on things. So back in the day, it's easy to do a media blackout, put a lid on it, spin it,
Yep,
and
yep,
and and,
yep,
and redirect.
yep.
Here you go. Like, nah,
Do you
not
see
now.
how hard Trump is trying to redirect the Epstein thing, bro?
Let's talk about that list, bro. Like, bro, you went from saying you don't know, you didn't hear nothing and then the man said
Yeah.
I've never seen, I don't think Charles Wood, I don't think Travis Hunter could backpedal this well. Like,
Yo, the amount of times, man, they've changed up this story. Elon said that Trump's on the list. 2 days later, the DOJ is like, this case is closed. There ain't no third parties getting charged. There ain't nobody getting charged. And Trump really, like, he really thought that. So Trump really, and he has reason to believe that it's a cult, and just whatever he says, wherever he goes, his people are gonna follow, right? And I guess he's finding out where the lines are, because people are not moving with this Epstein thing. So after
they're
saying
gonna
that it
be
was closed and there's not going to be anybody else implicated and him, he's talking about who cares about this guy Epstein, it's all, all this and that, right? But now he has to, because so much of his base is like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, this is crazy.
someone killed themselves. Excuse me. Someone unalived themselves.
Yeah. Mm.
Behind it, one of the key witnesses, um, allegedly unalived herself, because honestly, ain't no telling nowadays. They'll make it look like that. Her allegations were so strong. We're talking international superpowers that she was commingling with.
You talking about Ghislaine? What are you talking about?
Not Ghislaine. It was one of the victims.
Oh
She
yeah,
was the one that was
Virginia
with the
Dufresne, I think her name is, something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
very sad. And I guess it's just the stress and
Mm.
the backlash from it. And just
Bro, it's
constantly seeing it.
nasty, bro.
It is real nasty,
It's
man.
real
It's super
nasty,
nasty.
bro. There's hundreds of girls out there that have said that they'll testify, and they're like, "Nah, it wasn't
Nah,
wasn't nothing else going on. We're gonna close this thing down."
these three are fine. It's just like,
Crazy.
really,
Yeah.
really, like, so. Thoughts and prayers to the victims out there, to their families.
Mm.
I really do hope some form of justice can get served. I don't know if this is all going to just be a lineup like for his final days in office, and it's like, oh, let's wait till we let's not waste a shot no more with this guy. He's already proven he has things on smash. Let's wait till his final day in office, and then the following day, once he's out, let's file this motion or this charge up against him. Who's to say? And the good thing about a podcast is, like, if this hypothetical rant and prediction is correct, guess who's coming back and going viral?
Ain't
Ill
man,
advised guys.
ain't nobody getting charged, bro.
Nah, no, please.
Ain't nobody getting
Please.
charged, man.
It's George Jefferson strolling on him.
Yeah,
like
Nah, it's
that's it, man.
yeah. I didn't realize that so many. So I've heard, like, for the past couple of years. I guess I just didn't know how real it was, that people thought like the Democratic, like, leadership, like the Democratic organization, was like facilitating this child trafficking thing, right? And that Trump was going to be like the superhero that
Gangbusters.
releases the list and like stops all of it. But I guess there was like a lot of people that, I guess for me, that it never seemed realistic because Epstein was arrested and unalived while Trump was president, right? So all that list stuff, and he said that Obama made the list. Like, how Obama, that doesn't even, the timelines don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Trump was president, when all this stuff went down, right? So if he was gonna release the list, he could have done it while he was president. He could have done it after he wasn't president. If he had all this information, like, it just would have happened already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What the hell are you waiting for?
Yeah, so to me, it was always like, I thought it was just like some internet stuff, right? I didn't think there was actually like a real base of people that thought that something was gonna come of this. But it's been refreshing to see that people actually like standing 10 toes down when it comes to it. People like, no, like, we know and me being the cynic that I am, I knew for the rip after Jeff Epstein died, I'm like, nobody's going down for this, because obviously there's Clinton and Democrats that are in it, but like,
too much power.
Yeah, but then obviously there's Republicans, and so there's a concerted effort among the political establishment to
silence the
lambs, right? So I never it's just something I would love for justice to be served for all these people, but again, there's like the idea of it, and then there's like the realistic, practical part of it. And practically, I'm like, no, the power players aren't gonna let it. Why would they let it happen? And now you have Ghislaine Maxwell, who's talking about she wants to testify and say all this stuff. In what world would she implicate Trump? Even though we know that him and Epstein were friends for all these years, and there's a lot of nefarious things. Not saying I think that Trump did anything with underage girls, but he has a history of like doing nefarious. Like, in order to run, he had to pay off a porn star like $150,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, him and Melania got together when I don't know how old he was, but she was 26, and the first time they smashed was on Epstein's plane. You feel me?
Oh,
yeah, there's enough stuff there that if you wanted to put two and two together, there's a lot of stuff with Trump, right? But do you think there's any chance in hell that Ghislaine would implicate Trump when Trump is the person that she would need to pardon her, and she's trying to get pardoned?
Unless you get the pardon and you backfire it, you get the pardon and you just like, all right, whatever I say, go, because you can't take back your pardon.
But why? But he would only pardon her if she gave a testimony that said that he wasn't part of it.
Like, she about to, like, you really got to be like double. You really got to be like, yeah, I'm gonna agree to whatever term, and then there's 180 on this cap once I set foot outside.
But why would she? Do we think she's a good person?
No,
It,
she has no morals.
you know what I mean?
She has no like.
She's
I
gonna do
don't.
whatever to
She's
get out
looking
of
out for
jail.
Delph. She's looking out for Delph.
Yeah,
She's
and Trump wished
Philadelphia.
her well when she went into
Yeah,
jail. Like
come on,
there's,
that's
you
the
know what I mean?
telltale right there. Like, y'all wish you well. Like, pretty much, translation is, "Girl, hold it down. I got you
Hold
for
it
like 3
down,
weeks,
hold it
and I
down.
got you."
POP,
And
hold it down.
yeah, yeah. I bet you, they both didn't forecast it being this crazy. They thought it would have been
I
like,
think Trump really didn't think that.
didn't.
He said it in 2015. He said I could shoot someone in Times Square and I wouldn't lose a follower. And he's been so bulletproof. Like you think about everything that's transpired the last 10 years.
Surviving the shot.
He's only gained like all the crazy stuff that's happened with Trump, January 6th, everything, grab him by the, you know what I'm saying, all that. Like he's only gotten more popular, over time. So I totally, I mean, this guy, you're talking about a guy who was born with a silver spoon, born with every advantage in the world, born with all the opportunities, and
Yes.
obviously there's some brilliance and there's work ethic behind it. You don't get to where Trump's gotten by accident, but
No.
but he's just the luckiest man ever. He's the luckiest man on the planet. Like he's the definition of fail forward, because every time he fails, he just gets richer and more followers. So, it doesn't surprise me that he really thought that he could just, act like this wasn't a big
Yes.
deal and all of his
Yes.
followers will follow. I think
Yes.
this is the first, like, oh, people really ain't letting this thing go. But he's also like he doesn't have to run for re-election, so what does he even care?
That too. Exactly. That's why I keep telling people that, like, he's just getting like, you getting that nut off because, like, hey, this is my last time here. It's like,
He's getting a
it's like your
position.
last.
Yeah, he's getting a position for his kids in his retirement. He don't care.
That's right. That's right. That's what he don't care about, the political corruption of it, the backlash, anything. And I tell people that all the time. Sometimes people do, and I'm obviously I'm not a Trump supporter or fan, whatever, but I tell people, like, what would you do in that position, if you were in it? And it's like the celebrities who got caught lying on the college applications for their children. And people are like, well, you're a celebrity, you can afford it. It's like, yo, even if they could, why would I want to pay Harvard $1 million a year to send my bratty ass kid who I know may or may not excel? Nah, come take this picture in this kayak and say you're a kayaker, so you get the scholarship and figure out what you want to do with your life, because, like,
Right?
people think
What would you
celebrities just
do
got
if you
money to blow
could?
it.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
What would you do if you could?
yeah,
That's it. And
exactly.
it's like, even if you can't, even if you wouldn't, can you see how somebody else would? You know what I mean? How somebody else would. And it's like,
They don't stop and think about that perspective of it. Everything is fed and media driven to believe that the narrative that of what you taught.
yeah, no, absolutely. Well, yo, it
Yeah.
is late, as we said in the beginning. So, and eventually we're gonna get these things down to 45 minutes, because that's ultimately
gonna
the
do our
goal. But
best.
we appreciate everybody who's still listening over an hour into this thing. We'll just touch on Glorilla real quick. Shout out to Glow.
Yes.
I love Glorilla,
Let
man.
it cook.
Let it cook, man. So her situation, so it piqued my interest for a couple reasons. So for y'all who don't know, she was doing a show, I think for the WNBA. She was doing a show, and her house was broken into when the somebody called the cops and everything like that. And when the cops went to investigate everything, they noticed the smell of weed, ended up finding a zip of weed in her closet, and ended up arresting her for felony possession
That is crazy.
in 2025.
Over a
Like,
zip,
there's so
bro.
many things that are crazy about this story.
Like, the fact that she got her freaking house broken into should have been enough as a woman. Nope.
Yo,
Get it for the zip.
crazy. But just the fact that that's even a thing. I mean, but yo, people gotta realize this is Glorilla. This is one of the biggest artists in music, and this happened to them. Imagine what's happening to people that don't have that visibility, that don't have that money. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? It's a double-edged sword, Scott, when you bring up that point, because, like you said, this is Glorilla. I'm pretty sure she's not living in in a low end area,
Mm.
you know. So when things like this kind of occur, this could also, I look at it as a shakedown.
Mm.
You know, hey girl, you got it. You know, so we gonna need you to pay $10,000. And it's just like, come on, like
For a zip of weed, bro, in
for a zip of weed,
2025.
you know, like I told you before we got on air, and I'll tell this story on air. Like, you know, I was involved in a home invasion many years ago.
Many years
Many
ago.
years ago. They weren't coming for your boy. They
Okay,
were not
yeah,
coming
gotta
for your boy. I had
clarify.
a roommate at the time.
Mm.
You know, I lived in this spot in Long Island. It was like this 2-story, it was on top of a deck, and his side of the condo, whatever you want to call it, they were coming for him. And long story long, you know, the police came there. You know, I was having a little wake and bake, and I had to tuck that up real quick. And you know, when I say this whole place was covered, crawling with Nassau County's finest, and you know, I had the loud was going, and they couldn't find it. All they had to do was just look down. All they had to do was, oh, there you go. He ain't do that though. It was too smooth. There's a lot going
Too
on. But long story long
smooth.
is that he was looking to get your boy pinned to the wall like a office memo. But luckily, Lieutenant was like, "Yo, we ain't here for all that. We here for the home invasion." You know, so they should be about that same business with Glorilla. Clearly, like, you know, artists are being targeted, athletes are being targeted. You know, you had NFL athletes that go on away games. People are targeting their home.
True.
So they could have thought that she was on tour and invaded her home, or knew that she was there.
They know. It wasn't a surprise that she was performing there. You know what I'm saying? People would just follow her social media and know her and know her address and take it from there. So that's why it's so crazy that, again, all this, for people, we're saying a zip. So for people who don't know, like, a zip is 1 ounce. It was in her closet. It's just a personal. So people, you know, the viewers, you know, any of my viewers, y'all probably know. So I own, cannabis and hemp businesses, right? And
over his right shoulder.
Oh yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
GBG.
Yeah, get it while I got it. GBG, you already know. But you know, a big reason I got into this space, aside from the opportunities and obviously, is that I want to be one of the pioneers in normalizing, normalizing it, and I guess kind of rectifying the war on drugs. There was a lot of things that were wrong about it. You know what I mean?
Very.
And like, this kind of stuff is what's wrong about it. So I was a bartender for a good amount of years, like during and right after college. And this is before I ever partook in anything that had to do with, with cannabis, right? And just the idea that people would, I always had friends that went to jail, and I had people who were caught up for weed and different things, and the idea that people would get in trouble for weed while alcohol was so available and so legal just never made any sense to me, because alcohol across the board is worse. It's worse for your body. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Across the board. So it just never made sense. In the same world where alcohol is legal, there's no justification for cannabis being legal.
Right.
And then that's not even talking about opioids and everything, else. There's actual medical applications to cannabis where there's no medical applications for alcohol. You feel me? Besides, like, treating a wound. You feel me? Like, dumping it on a wound.
I got lean in my closet right now.
Yeah, So, yeah, I don't know. I want to bring attention to that. I think, we, with ill-advised, I think we could be mindful about the things that we cover and why, why we cover them. What we're giving air to, what we're giving, our breath to. And I think it's important for people to know that, yeah, she's a very rich and very visible, like, she's a celebrity. She's going to be just fine. There's a lot of people that aren't in her position that are dealing with the same exact BS over something that there's no reason for it.
Changing their whole life right now.
Changing their whole life, and there's companies, there's companies and politicians that used to rail against cannabis, that used to lobby against cannabis, that are now becoming rich off of it. Meanwhile, people are in jail. It's still on people's records. It's still messing up people's lives. So we just be conscious of this stuff. I won't put that out there.
Facts.
Yeah, man.
Facts. Yo, man, go on, bro.
Yeah, man, this was good. This was good.
This was solid.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do the live stream next time. We're gonna try it again. We're gonna work this out.
Yeah. We're gonna work out the kinks. We want to shout out everybody who's been rocking with us for these past 2 episodes. It's been like a 2 hour and 40 minutes totality. So that's like a short film.
Yeah,
especially if
y'all don't watch the movie with us.
Yeah, if you were a James Cameron film.
yeah, that's just one movie.
It's regular runtime, but definitely, thank y'all for rocking out with us, growing with us, as you working this out. This is a brand new podcast. We are doing this from a distance. We're doing this with very hectic schedules because we are this much devoted to y'all. We want y'all to see this perspective. We want y'all to think on this wavelength. And we want the engagement from y'all. So, when we sharing this content, please comment on it. Please share it to somebody else. Debate about it. Disagree with us. Agree with us. Teach us something. Maybe you can enlighten us. So definitely, I want to thank you, Scott, for giving us, this opportunity and this platform, man. With Ill-Advised.
Absolutely, this is gonna be fun to build. So we're, I can be a perfectionist with things, and I didn't want no analysis paralysis with this. I'm like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna just put these episodes up. We don't even have our promotion all worked out. We're just like, let's just record our conversations. We have dope conversations. We're gonna worry about clipping them up and doing it all later. But we definitely invite everybody to grow with us. This is something that we definitely plan on doing very consistently for a long time, because we're doing a lot of work together. What you guys will hear about, on the music front, on the business front, on the finance front, on a lot of different fronts. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about for a long time, and we figure, this is a way to start bringing people in. We want to build this community. And yeah, man, yo, Michael, it's so dope having you, bro. I look forward to keeping this thing going.
Same, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Till next time, good people. This is Ill-Advised, and we are the Ill-Advised guys. Scott Paul.
Michael Worthy.
Till next time.
Peace.